Hey, this is Keith. How you doing? I'm making my return to YouTube after sort of being in the dark for a long time, and I definitely see myself as like a light worker of helping a lot of people. Don't have such a big following anymore, but it's pretty amazing when I get like messages on Facebook from people saying, "When are you going to come back and make videos?" and all this stuff. So I've been dealing with a lot of my own darkness, and sometimes it's not the best idea for me to be expressing myself because I am kind of social through this medium. But the big thing that I've been doing is working on this. So I have gloss on it. It's still got the plastic on it. There we go. Which is a new CD. As you know, I'm an artist, and the cover is pretty amazing to do with this blog because the guy who did all the design work for this CD is Donnie Stanley, a guy that I met through my own blog, when one of the people that I exchange with that on Facebook, on Skype, whatever. And apologies to some of you people that I interact with regularly, but the weight of finishing this is my most important work yet. Is pretty heavy, but this idea of shadow work is something that I've been doing for a long time now. A long time meaning a year and 2 months. Like, it's not just a new thing. And the whole idea of shadow work is really important because a lot of us that kind of come into this health food world and being more aware of plants and eating organic and drinking better water and becoming aware of herbs that help us, is we're just trying to feel better, and we're interested in our greatest potential, and that's where we're all together in a way. And this is also a big area of people that are mainly only considered with weight loss, and they're not so I haven't gotten this drive of where it's like I want to have better potential, and I just want to be skinnier. I just want to look good in jeans. I just want to, I don't want to be a fatso anymore. I don't want to be ugly. I don't want to be scared of myself when I see myself in the mirror. And boy, oh boy, those are the people that probably the most need to be aware of this facet of wellness, is doing shadow work. Of what is shadow work? Well, so basically, what is shadow work? Shadow work is working on the darkness of yourself, the darkness that you've left behind, the things that hold you back, the things that sort of make you a victim. Like, there's certain people on YouTube that are like, don't be a victim. And there is a way that you could just toughen up and just move on and get into sports and be really disciplined. And so what is being a victim is being hurt. And the whole world of, here's the other one, you have people that are overweight, and you have people that are all about sports and about running and all of that, and that's all good. We need to be active, but there's just a way that you can replace all that stuff that you need to be dealing with, like running and cycling. You're running from stuff. So the whole idea of doing shadow work is of going back and trying to heal these things. One of the most powerful meditations that you could do, or visualizations that you could do, is to think of probably one of the most troubled times from your childhood. And you picture yourself in that room, in that situation, wherever you are, and you visit yourself as an adult, and you console yourself. Because in the spiritual world there is no past, present, or future. It's all continuing. So the reality of shadow work is that whatever that distress was that you were dealing with, it actually still exists, and it's still very real. So in doing this visualization, take as long as you need, but basically the idea is you come up with one of the first thing that comes into your mind, a very troubled time. Say you're a kid, you're in your bedroom, you're in distress. You come in there as an adult now, and you visit yourself and you console yourself and you sort of go, oh, look at me now. Like, you have a conversation with yourself in that time. And then at the end of it, you wind up bringing your young self over to you and giving them a hug. And that meditation could be, or that visualization could be very short or very long. It's very powerful. So as you get into this shadow work, you can really dig into it, and you'll find that as you start getting into it and finding yourself lighter after dealing with a lot of this, you really you find that there's a lot of stuff that you've left behind. So or just forgotten, that I guarantee you it's holding you back. Just because you've forgotten it doesn't mean, and I know this for a fact with this work that I've been doing. So anyways, I'm sort of back. I'm going to be doing these big clusters of recipes, and the big thing that I'm going to be talking about on here, these blogs like this, being in my kitchen making food, and when I do those, it just constantly seems like I'm doing these blended soup recipes, which I do a lot. But I'm going to do, when I get back to eating regular, solid, more raw-based food, and I'm going to be doing some stuff with high-prepared food for my friends that's healthier, and it's not necessarily always raw. Other thing I'm going to be doing is talking a lot about this stuff and talking about the magic that I'm doing. I am a chaos magician. I've totally identified with that, and I'm totally regular and practicing now all the time. So this is just a word of advice. I'm following, or to tell you, and a word of advice about what's working for me is I sort of following a pagan calendar, very rigid, with a discipline of doing some kind of magic ritual 3 times a day. And I identify with what is a chaos musician, which is a thing that was kind of come up with in the 80s, sort of. And that is, you sort of pick and choose of like what works for you. You're not like in any religion. And that in itself is like working in the dark. There's this way that in established, disciplined religions that they sort of just want to floodlight the whole world. And being aware of your darkness, getting inside of yourself and discovering the fact that you are a god. And living that helps a lot. So it's Halloween tomorrow, and Halloween is it looks like Samhain, Samhain. It's said Samhain, or a couple of other different ways depending on what country you're from. So that means summer's end, and so from now until the winter solstice, which is around Christmas time, usually December 21st. That's supposed to be a period of reflection, a period of dark. So I'm going to try and tell you from now, time to time, little spells I'm doing. So tomorrow I'm starting a spell bottle, which is you basically take a jar that you can seal, and you sort of charge. You put a lot of things in there that work for you, that are relative to what you're doing. And in the areas of chaos magic, you don't get so specific about, like, you can go on to Tumblr and go on to the internet to get started. And this is where a lot of food people get really fucked up, and where people get fucked up in general. And that's from, like, thinking that you have to follow some fucking protocol. So in the spell jar, you put a lot of things that are related to the goals that you want. And we're basically going to cover the spell jar up and bury it in the ground in a spot. I'm jumping ahead, and we're going to leave it there till next Halloween. So I found this bit on Tumblr about doing a Samhain spell bottle. And I'm not going to follow this exactly, but you find like rocks and herbs and flowers and things that speak to you. So this one that I got that I'm going to base it off of, in here they're putting ground rose petals, which are for protection and love, ground sage, which is for wisdom, protection, and remembrance, dried rosemary, which is for purification and remembrance, dried catnip, which is for love and happiness, dried thyme, and on it goes down to, like, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a lot of stuff in there. And I wrote it down. A lot of times I like to do things with magic where I get away from the technology. Like when I go to the witch shop to get stuff, I physically drive there. I don't like the idea of ordering things online. And I do a lot of stuff on Tumblr, of gathering a lot of information, but at times I want my hands to get dirty, so to speak. So inside here also you put dried beans for creativity, communication, and offering to the dead, dried peas and offering to the dead. Again, Samhain, in case you don't know, is the time when it's considered that the veil between the physical and the spiritual world is at its thinnest, and so the possibilities of divination and communications with spirits is at its highest. So you can put crystals in there. You can put little rocks from your yard. I go and I gather stones all the time, and so basically you're just putting a lot of stuff in here that means a lot to you, and then you're going to seal it, and then you're going to light some candles, and you're going to just charge this by putting a lot of your intent in there. Things you wish for, things you wish removed from, some kind of security that you wish for. So that's it. And I'm going to bury that in the ground. So if you want to have a go at that, you can do that. And so that's going to be another aspect of my blog as it's coming up here. So support me by supporting my music. Links in the drop down to this new CD. Stuff's on Bandcamp. You can listen to my new music. It streams on Bandcamp. You don't necessarily have to pay for it. I have free downloads on there. So anyways, I'm back and I'm going to stay back. Bright blessings, and I'll see you later.